Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whenever you may be. I am Bennedict Lott, second in line to the throne of the pit and guardian of the Wazhack tunnels, and today I am playing Wazhack on Mezzonine's Mezzanine. I am one of the primary characters from his first book, but he has asked me to let you know that he said he would be doing Asus first, and Asus apparently doesn't wish to talk about himself. It's what you would expect from a Wazhack. Anyway, this one looks like me anyway. Blonde hair, chainmail, sword in his hand. I don't have a pet at all, but I suppose if I did I would be a dog man. So let's have a look at his stats. In fact, let's name him first. Ben Lott. It seems to be a thing among these characters to have a the something after their name. Like Wazhack the Precise did. Perhaps I'll have to consider something like that for myself. If anything, the Graceful would fit me well. So let's have a look at my stats now. Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. Well, I'd like to keep my Charisma that high. I think that's appropriate. I wouldn't say I'm that strong. I'm more graceful than anything else, so I suppose that would be Dexterity. How many stats can I put in there? Oh, that's it then. I'm more intelligent than that. Perhaps I'm not then. Alright, I think that's a suitable stat build for this character. For myself, in fact. So let's see what we've got in this dungeon. Mez has asked me to talk a little bit about myself and my country, and the pit. I'm really not sure where to start with these things. I suppose with myself. I am, of course, the guardian of the Wazhack tunnels, as I said. It is one of the titles that my family holds, and it has been given to me. I don't know why it wasn't given to my older brother Ben first in line for the throne, but perhaps they thought he would be a little too busy with the throne. Perhaps they thought he was a little too selfish and power-hungry. I am the only one of my siblings not to use magic, which has really quite hindered me in life, I feel. But I suppose it is better than relying on that stuff like my brothers do, my younger brothers at least. My older brother uses his sword and his spells. Myself, I'm content to use just a sword. And of course my grace. I don't think I would win nearly so many battles if I couldn't dance around my foes and just strike them when they're not ready for it. Of course, having my family to back me up does help. And spells are far mightier than weapons. Especially in cases like that. I could have hit him first time with a bit of fire melding. Oh well. I've tried to learn magic in the past, and it's really not gone too well for me. I've never had the control, the focus, the wisdom. Magic, it appears, is not really my thing. Swords, on the other hand, certainly fit in my hand well. I suppose metaphors aren't my thing either. It looks like I'm actually quite close to death in this game. I would have assumed I could just go through it and beat everything to a pulp like I would in real life, but perhaps not. I can't dance around my enemies in this. This makes the game trickier than I was expecting. Well, let's rebuild my character. Let's go for Graceful again. I can't imagine anything else. Although, if I can't dance around my opponents, perhaps that shouldn't be it. Ben the Spellless. If I could spell. Yes, that will do. Of course, I do need to put my stats back into... No, I don't. It's put them into dexterity automatically. Perhaps I should drop charisma slightly, though. There we go. That looks like a slightly better build, more strength, more constitution. This one might survive longer, even if it is less accurate to myself. So perhaps I'll have to start actually playing the game with a little bit more focus. Now, I have mentioned a few times that I am second in line to the throne of the pit. The pit was given to my family 400 or so years ago, after the infamous events of Sleek Flammer and his attempted revolution. The pit is basically a large hole right through the world of Britain, and it was given to us as sort of a joke, as rough land that we could never ever manage to do anything with. Well, now there's a castle in it, there's fields full of food, wheat and grain and, you know, the usual. And we've actually got a little prosperous village going up the walls of the pit, as well as a staircase down to the bottom. I suppose we wouldn't have been able to afford all of those improvements if it weren't for our contract with the Hoshnings to guard their tunnels. We are the only ones other than them that know the secrets to getting through them. That is a position that requires a lot of trust. The Hoshnings are some of the least trusting people that there are. But they have trusted us to guard their tunnels. And thanks to them, we've made our lands prosperous, and now the Briffs want it back. We're not happy about that. But the war seems to be not going too much in our favour. They have a larger army than us, and they seem to have a son to counteract each of our family. This makes things difficult, especially with Silas blocking my move at every turn. The Briff family, of course, rule the majority of our world of Britain, and it is a worse place for them, I believe. I can't cite any exact examples, but they are foul people and they should never have been put in charge. Actually, I can cite an exact example. They want our pit back. They gave it to us, and now they're trying to deny it. They have riled the people in the face of an injustice. And now they think that they're going to hold on to those people. They are foul, and they deserve to be wiped off the face of this world. Britain, for the most part, is actually a quite nice place, but unfortunately the Briffs have got their stink all over it. Everyone trusts them because it's a nice place. But you know what? Just because we're nicer than the other worlds doesn't mean that our kings are right. Mold, get out of my way, you mouldy mould. Oh, that's doing nasty things to my weapons. There we go. I believe a level of dual wielding would be very appropriate for me, considering I am currently dual wielding. Oh, that's much faster. I suppose that's the point of that level, though. Let's take a rest. I'm rather injured. Oh, and hungry, apparently. Well, I have no dietary restrictions, So I'll just eat the healthiest looking thing there. A big slab of meat. I suppose there is not much else that I am any form of authority to tell you about in regards to Griffin. My focus has always been more on the tunnels. I have been decided as their guardian since I was 8 years old. Because apparently Sam must have made some form of mistake that I did not know of when he was 10. This is no worry to me, of course. I am happy to have the title. It's not as good as the heir to the throne, but I'm happy to take the title. Hunger only happens when it's raining. Well, it's always raining in Griffin. Just the state of affairs there. Oh, I can investigate this drain. I don't know what might be in there. And I don't suppose that I should. It seems risky. I'm not one for taking risks. You cannot defend well if you're out taking risks. Let's kick that open and see what we can take out. Oh, something shattered inside the chest. Perhaps I shouldn't kick them open in the future. I see no reason not to take any of this. And in fact, I have extra armour that I could be equipping. Let's have a look at what it is. Just that pair of gloves, is it? Oh, those amulets do look nice, though. I'm not sure it's worth the risk of them yet, though. I don't know what they might do. Amulets do tend to be rather magical, and magic isn't something that I'm too knowledgeable about, as I have explained. Why are none of my strikes hitting? Kobolds! Whoa. That went poorly all of a sudden. I suppose I should do one more run. Mez did ask me to keep the video at least 20 minutes, and I will endeavour to do so. Bennedict the Defender, as it seems to have been the topic of conversation. Well, I suppose it's not really a conversation. Alright, let's go for more constitution. And I suppose the wisdom and intelligence is something I may be lacking on. Let's take strength instead. Perhaps the character will last longer in that manner. So what else is there I could tell you about Griffin? Well, lots of large forests and small villages. Houses are typically made of wood. The people are happy. Food is reasonably plentiful. As the worlds that I know of go, we are one of the more prosperous. Of course, we are no nearer, but that is not a topic I am particularly knowledgeable about. They must have some sorts of wizards in their council. They deny any use of magic whatsoever, but I'm sure they do. No one could get technology that wondrous without it. Wondrous? I'm sounding like Silas. I've mentioned Silas a couple of times now. He is my rival. He is one of the Briffs, and he is nothing if not my rival. He too tends not to use magic unless he is forced to. Unfortunately, he does use magic at those times, but it's only a bit of air melding, and that's nothing I need to worry about when I can move with the grace of the wind. And the storm. I suppose that may be a reference that makes no sense to you. There is a dance known as the Dance of the Storm that is particularly effective in combat, but also rather a requirement to guard the pits. hits the tunnels. I'm one of the few people in the world that knows how to do it. Potentially myself and my father are the only ones outside of the Gnad family that know how to do it. And let me know, let you know, rather, it's a tough dance. Let me tell you, that's the phrase I was looking for. How did that get lost in my mind? There we go. So I suppose I should just focus on the gameplay now, with little else to tell you about myself. Oh, kobold and a goblin. Don't you dare steal that gem, that's mine now. No, I don't want to drink from a random fountain. Why would I do that? That's very risky, for one thing. I'll dip a short sword in it, sure. Let's do that one. Nothing happens. Okay. Whatever. Shield and sword isn't really my style, so I will ignore that. You can't move swiftly with a shield on your arm. Sword in both hands is a far better way to fight your foes. There's a goblin riding a giant rat. Well, this may be something of a risk for me, but it looks like I've won that fight. Ha! In your face, goblin. Ha! Weapon's precision increased my damage, I believe. Yes, I'll take that. I am quite precise in combat. I suppose I should make an attempt at reading some of these scrolls. See what they do. I've got 2 of this one. Let's try it. Identify. Wonderful. Well, let's identify that wand. Wand of nothing. What a useful wand. Suppose it's around the level of magic that I'm skilled with, though. Ooh, cursed amulet of strangulation. I'm not going to be wearing that anytime soon. What else can I identify? The other scrolls, perhaps, would be a good idea. Magic mapping. That's it. Okay. Let's move along, then. And I suppose, if I ever needed a map, it would be now. If I ever needed a map, it would be in the Wazhack tunnels, but I have a map there, so that's fine. I am the only one with a map there. Apparently the Wazhacks themselves know it off by heart. I find that hard to believe. It's a rather large, sprawling place, just like this dungeon. I doubt I've been everywhere in it. I don't actually visit there that much. The air pressure is rather low and it's worrying. Dangerous. Uncomfortable. Unpleasant. Many, many things, but not something that I am interested in experiencing. That's the main point. Oh, there's a shop here. Greetings, shopkeep. How can I buy from you today? I have no money, but I want that scroll of identify. I wonder if I've got anything I could sell for it. Like this shield and these boots. And the wand of nothing. These can all be sold as well, why not? Oh, and those amulets. Yes, rather wise sale, I think. And I shall then take on that scroll of identify. And see what this tiger eye ring does. Uncursed ring of see invisible. Well, I don't need 2 of them, so I won't buy his one, but I will wear this one. Rather handy. Oh, look, I can see myself. I suppose this will increase my accuracy if I come across any invisible foes. Although I don't see any reason that I might anytime soon. Ah, finally doing reasonably well. Well, you know, compared to the previous 2 attempts. Although I am becoming less and less like myself with each attempt. I've got a lot of potions at this point, but there's also many different types, it's pointless trying any to see what they are, because it'll just be gone then, and then knowing what they are will be pointless. Oh, fell off the ladder. That's not something I do often. Actually, ever. If I fell off the ladder at home, I would fall literally forever. Because the pit is bottomless. Quite a dangerous place, actually. The wood's starting to rot recently with all the rain. I believe we're not actually set to replace it for another 10 years yet. Which is a worry, because it's not in a state that warrants not replacing. There is a spell book there, perhaps I should read it and see if I can learn a spell. Oh, this is going to take me a while by the seams of it. Ouch. Too advanced to comprehend. Yes, that tends to be the case for me. So many books of Mancy I've tried to read and melding that I've tried to study, and they just left me dazed. I'm weak from hunger. Well, I can't have that. Let's eat all the meat I have. Sewer rat meat, I don't think I'll be eating that. Nor goblin innards. It's bad enough that I'm having to eat raw meat. Chef would hate it. You can have these goblin innards. Dog. Perhaps I should have named him. That was a massive jump. Perhaps some of my equipment is of jumping. I know not, but I shall equip this red cloak now that I've noticed I have it. Yes, this is a lot more like me. Bouncing and dancing about the place, jumping over enemy heads and getting behind them for a proper assault. Me to a T. Well, there appears to be a few kobold zombies there. Perhaps I should hire the cables to get rid of them. Although I'm not sure that our family has the spare funds for their fees. Especially now that Hugh has retired. Well, I say retired. Rumour has it that he's become a torturer. But that's not any of my business. That is between the cables. Weapons knowledge isn't something I really possess that much, but nor is a shield mastery, knowledge of gastronomy. I leave that down to the chef. Commerce. I have skills in commerce. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Spiders. Nasty creatures. Thankfully we don't get many large ones in Britain. I've heard rumours of giant ones over in Tenera and Nitmar, but not something I worry about really. It's too far from home. I want to read that scroll of identify, but there's a kobold coming after me. Let's deal with him. There we go. It's the wrong button. Well, I've got two of those. Let's see what they are. Potion of healing. Brilliant. I may need them sometime soon. I seem to be getting to a point where the game is getting harder. Perhaps I should check out any new swords I may have picked up. No, still crude. I need better swords. I don't know any spells, why would I try and cast one? Wonderful. More sword skill. Again, that's me to a T. Drinking from a random fountain has gone poorly for me, as I did earlier expect it might. I seem to be hallucinating. It's rather entertaining, actually. What does this wall say? Leprechauns are wise to your charms. Good for them. I don't know really very much about leprechauns. We don't get many of them over in Tenera. Tenera? Briffin. What's Tenera got to do with anything in this case? We don't get them there either. Oh dear. This seems to be a worrisome situation. Can I jump out of it? Just about. Not quite. And I jumped into my death. Okay. I believe I've run out of things to discuss anyhow. So, I believe Mez wanted me to thank you for watching. Ask you to like or comment with whether or not you want to see me playing this again. Hear more about my life or whatever. And I really don't know what else. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.